I have known many gods. He who denies them is as blind as he who trusts them too deeply. I seek not beyond death. It may be the blackness averred by the Myrmidon skeptics, or Crom's realm of ice and cloud, or the snowy plains and vaulted halls of Nordheimer's Valhalla. I know not, nor do I care. Let me live deep while I live. Let me know the rich juices of red meat and the stinging wine on my palate, the hot embrace of arms and the mad exultation of battle when the blue blades flame and crimson, and I am content. Let teachers and philosophers brood over questions of reality and illusion. I know this. If life is illusion, then I am no less an illusion, and being thus, the illusion is real to me. I live, I burn with life, I love, I slay, and am content. Robert E. Howard, Queen of the Black Coast.
Nice.
And welcome everybody to our first episode of Tales from the Tower, Conan the Thief, Episode 1, where we start the actual game of Modiphius' 2D20 Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed of. My name is James. I will be your intrepid game master for this game.
I'm Brad. I'll be playing Calamir.
My name is Emily. I'm going to be playing Ulrika Tervingi.
My name's Frank. I'm going to be playing Cribben.
My name's Justin, and I'm going to be playing Ramesh.
So this is the first session we're having of this game. We've done some setup for about 3 episodes now, using Microscope to set up the history of the Thieves Guilds of Shadazar. So there are some previous episodes of that if you'd like to catch up on that, but none of that's needed for where we're going to be tonight. Other Crumbling Keep news, our podcast went live this week. Yay! So if you're interested in that, you can find it on your favorite podcast app. Just look for Crumbling Keep Presents, The Isles of Samceris. That's Crumbling Keep Presents, The Isles of Samceris. Or you can listen to it right on our website, which you can find at crumblingkeep.com. Make sure, if you haven't already, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/crumblingkeep, and you can keep up with all the awesome things we're doing. We have some cool blog posts coming out this week, all kinds of funness. So without further ado, let's meet our cast of characters. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. Calamir Shaka was born to a hill tribe in the mountains outside of Shadazar. It overlooks it, really. He was born on a new moon in the pitch black night, which to his people had some kind of superstitious omen to it. Him being born of evil or something of, not some kind of nonsense, which he's shed this superstition over the years. But this moon, this month, marks his 250th full moon since his birth, which to his people is a great significance. It's supposed to define the character's fate, and he like I said, he doesn't have any belief in this anymore. But who knows? How you can see omens in anything, and if everyone else is telling you, your entire life that it was or it is, then things might change your mind.
Sure.
So being from a tribespeople, he dresses very plainly, and also he tries to be as unassuming and inconspicuous as possible. He wants to blend in wherever he is. So he dresses, again, plainly. Doesn't have as many fancy hair, though it's straggly, a little long. Kind of just pulls it back into a ponytail. He's got the one thing he does own that he loves, although he doesn't show it outwardly, is a cloak that he found that he actually turned inside out. It was some merchant's valuable cloak made of leopard skin, and he turns it inside out to know that he's got something special, but he doesn't want to draw attention from it because he knows that anytime you have something, somebody else is going to want it, especially in this town.
That is incredibly apt for Shadazar.
He doesn't have many accoutrements. He just has a large pouch that kind of extends his entire left hip. It's got a couple of pockets within it. He carries some rope if he's going out. He has a bearded axe that he tries to keep hidden within his cloak, and a garrote that he keeps in one of those pouches on his large belt. And then he wears a loose tunic, with the belt over it. It's very drafty.
Nice.
And just some, sandals. With the leather wrapping up the leg.
The kind of that old style Roman type sandal.
Mm-hmm.
Crisscrosses up the calf type situation.
Yep.
All right, that's legitimate. Cool.
I guess I should mention that he does have tribal tattoos, but he tries to keep them. They're not on his face, they're not on his hands, but he has a big spider tattoo. One, because it's the style of thievery that he learned from his master, and two, he has found himself drawn to the spider queen or whatever. He's drawn to the temple of the spider god.
Ooh.
If he's gonna lean toward one deity or the other, it's the spider god.
Okay. Interesting. That's awesome to know. Cool. Who wants to go next?
I will, if no one... yeah, it's me. So, Ramesh, even to, the inner circle of people, you can't get a story that's accurate about his life before he got here. He will tell everybody a different story every single time about his childhood, and they all become, fantastical, made-up stories about whatever. And none of them are true, but he'll never get right to the point about it. But he is from Vendia. Is that Vendia?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I'll call it that. Which I guess is the equivalent of India-ish or something. So he's got that, brown skin, dark hair, all that kind of stuff. He out in public, he wears a set of brigandine armor that makes him look like he's really heavy and like a big old fat jolly guy. But at least for the inner circle, they know that it's kind of like the mom suit in Futurama. He pops it off when he comes, and it's all just about deception and stuff like that. He's very, very jovial and supportive of people that he likes, but really never lets anybody truly in. And his prized possession is a whip that he says was forged by dwarves. that he keeps with him at all times.
So, question about
what's up?
about that stomach. Do the rest of the player characters know this, or is this something that they're not in on? Are they in that inner circle?
Like I assume that these guys are the inner circle.
Okay.
I assume we're inner circle. I assume we're better than the NPCs.
I'm sure we've seen you pull something out of there and then like wink at us, you know.
Yeah. But it's not something I make known to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So fake stomach.
Yep. Rad, right? I know.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, so like I said, he does like the like slicked beard and stuff. He keeps himself very clean, wears like merchant clothing, not like, you know, isn't afraid of kind of like standing out a little bit in terms of how he dresses and stuff, despite knowing where he is. Never really seems to bother him that much. So dresses in lots of like oranges and bright colors. And he's very persuasive. I guess that's not a description.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
We definitely got a bit of his personality there, which would be cool to see in play, especially in Shadowzar.
Yeah. I also have a horse that's name is Jackass. That's the other thing. I have no animal handling, but I have a horse. So came with my background. It's a riding horse. Its name is Jackass. That's all I got.
I will certainly make sure this comes into play during the game. All right, who's next?
I can go next.
Cool.
So I am playing Ulrika Tervingi. She's a her focus is on collecting rare and unusual artifacts and relics. And although she was born and raised in Shadowzar, her family is originally from Brithunia. And they're a little bit unusual in that they have kind of struck out to make their fortunes in Zamora. But they came from the richest and also smallest province in Brithunia. So that tiny province, because they couldn't compete on the battlefield, had to get rich or die trying, essentially. And she comes from a long line of thieves, fences, and tricksters, kind of an old family business. And her parents were welcomed at one point to Shadowzar by Lord Zerbez, who's one of the city's nobles, and was an old friend of a noble that they were in whose service they had worked back in their home country. So she is she's in her mid-30s. She's stout and muscular. She has long blonde hair that she always wears plaited into a tight braid, so that it isn't in her way. And she, other than her coloring, she dresses just like you would expect a Zamorian to. She has loose trousers, sandals, again with plenty of ankle and calf straps, just straps everywhere.
I feel that's going to be a theme of this game is...
Yeah, everybody's sandals. And she She also always wears a kind of loose jacket that goes down to about her knees. The better to not necessarily conceal, but also definitely kind of keep out of sight her various belt pouches and scroll cases. She oftentimes will carry with her the tools of her particular specialized trade. So maps and map-making supplies, navigation equipment, excavating tools, those little jeweler's eyepieces for narrowing in on really detailed carving or gems. And she was raised with the expectation that she was going to become a fence, and she apprenticed with a fence, but found that kind of the city life, or the sedentary life where you set up shop in one place and that's it for you, just didn't really appeal to her. So she wanted to be able to range a little bit more broadly.
Cool. So it sounds a little bit like, you're going to be voted most likely to have a legitimate career in the graduating class.
Yeah, I mean, so my background wise, my cast story is about how I have a reputation and a standing among thieves, which has the authenticity of a long-earned family guarantee. So it's like, yeah, you know, my dad, he was a thief. Like, you remember that time that you two worked together on the Great Heist of '72? So, yeah, she thinks that even though we're in a dishonorable business, there's ways that things are done, and there's probably a reason for it.
So everyone sort of knows you then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're the daughter of... Cool. Okay.
Like when she walks into the bar, is it like cheers? Like everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. I mean, I even have a talent where, like, if I can't pay my bar tab, I can like make something for somebody, or like, offer my services to them, and they'll be like, "Oh, sounds good to me."
Are you also a professor?
No, but maybe that's, that'll be down the line. Is like, once I'm done adventuring, then I'll find some like archaeology department somewhere, like get myself a really nice hat. It'll be good.
And you'll have a lot of good movies, but that last one is going to leave people questioning a lot of things with the crystal skull and the alien.
When you're ready to get a whip, let me know, because I'm kind of a whip snob.
So, anyone else have anything about their sandals they want to discuss?
I have a little bit.
Okay, yeah, tell us about your sandals.
Criven is an assassin who was actually born in Shadazar, on Noble Street. He's the second son of the illustrious Lord Asashahira. He's a well-known and very successful artist, art dealer, and art collector who's commonly seen on the Maker Street scouting for new artists and selling his own super graphic, super realistic paintings of battle scenes and torture scenes and selling them for thousands of gold.
Whoa, that is metal.
Wow.
Criven always loved his father's paintings and would go down to Maker Street with him all the time. And on the way, they would pass through the Heart sometimes, and he always saw the antics of the thieves and everything. And he was actually kind of a rich kid himself, and one day he got curious and wanted to try to get into some trouble, and started training to become a master thief, hoping to one day be able to steal anything in the world, and sought out the Guild of Hands. And it wasn't long before he was accepted and moved up to the infamous Squad of Fangs, where he was selected by Master Wa for master training alongside his good friend Kalimir Shaka. Things were going okay until the night of the blood moon, when Tesselgan bestowed his strange knife upon Criven, and it was the very next day that Criven stumbled upon some kind of event he shouldn't have witnessed, like an assassination or something. I don't know. I haven't really decided what, but and by his own volition, instead of being put to death, he was carved up with this mark, where there are these two long diamond-shaped cuts cut over his eyes, like that extend like pretty much from his hairline all the way down to his jawline, and they're like kind of like Scar from The Lion King, Couple of those over each eye, and when one receives a mark, they are considered dead to the outside world and take residence in their current guild, more or less as property of the guild masters, almost like a slave or something. They lose all their titles and any kind of lordship they may have had in the outside world. It's kind of difficult for them to move up in rank, though it isn't hurt us and to become some kind of captain or something. And they're totally unable to receive any kind of formal master training, as he was doing with Master Wa to become a thief. And though he could no longer be a master thief, Master Wa recognized his talents and kept him around, and kind of encouraged him to hone his other skills, and never let his mark get him down, and kind of became a father figure to Criven over the years.
The skills of death.
Criven kind of. Yep, skills of death. He became a bit better of a fighter. He fell in love with the bow, became a natural with the bow and arrow. And now he kind of makes his use to the guild being an assassin. As far as what he looks like, I kind of imagine him kind of like similar, like, skinny pants and straps and sandals and total ninja and everything. But
do you carry the sandals of your victims on your belt just so you have even more sandals for status?
Well, it's actually a necklace.
It's like an ear necklace, but with sandals.
Just like the front strap of each one. Let's not go over the top here.
Come for your sandals.
Yeah, I kind of imagine him to wear like that kind of ninja gear. He wears like a slightly padded shirt. Mostly wears like nice clothes over his like his light armor and all of his pouches and everything. Where he carries he actually in recent years has become interested in alchemy and making his own liquids and blinding powders, and even dabbling in sorcery just a little bit.
Sorcery.
Living at the guild gets boring, You get into some weird stuff. He's got a lot of spare time on his hand. Most people probably don't know he gets into that sort of thing.
Yeah, you probably don't want to know your friends digging into the rando alchemy stuff. If anyone ever read any Conan in their life,
never mind that.
Yeah, don't pay no attention here. Sorcerers are generally not meant to be trusted,
Yeah, generally. But over all of his ninja gear and nice clothes and stuff, he also wears a cloak with a half-face mask and a hood. And typically, if he's not inside of a building, he has his hood up and his mask up to cover his obscene scars over his face.
Cool. So that is a little scene thing. Then that is not. He doesn't lead with the scar face.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say the scars are like big enough. Like I don't know, maybe a good enough check. A thief might be able to spot it just because it's like a symbol known amongst all thieves to mark like an eavesdropper or, whatever his specific crime was deemed to be.
And I imagine once they see it, it's pretty hard not to recognize you, unless they can't tell you apart from all the other eavesdroppers who have the eye face scars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the scars aren't common, And then it's also it's kind of representative of a crime, against all guilds. Some might consider it, People might look at you funny.
Yeah, it's
let them get them down.
It's not exactly blacklisting because it's not like you're kicked out, but everyone knows, right? It's it's a warning to all guilds, not just your own.
Exactly.
If you take this guy in, he might be listening to things he's not supposed to know. Cool. Well, first, thank you for all the Sandal talk, everyone. Those are our characters going into the game. They have already met and we'll talk about a little bit of that in a moment before we get started on the actual game proper, which I'm sure everyone's just dying to get some dice rolling. There's been so much anticipation building up for this game. But first, I'd like to say hello to Aaron and Sarah in the chat, who have been really enjoying the Sandal talk.
Hello.
So
Hi.
if any other viewers have anything they want to talk about Sandal-wise, go ahead and drop us a line. We're more than happy to expound on that. Conan the Thief.
Leather colors.
Right.
Adding options to the insoles.
Sandal
How
gifts are
decorative
welcome.
do you want to be?
So, I mentioned earlier that we had a few sessions of Microscope to kind of set up the history of the Thieves Guild. And for anyone that missed that, Microscope is an indie RPG that you don't play characters so much as you play worlds. You have a starting period and an ending period, and everyone gets to add periods in between, and you get to flesh out as intricate a history of something as you want. Making up characters and organizations along the way. So we spent 3 episodes thus far doing this for Conan the Thief. So we have a really nice bed to lay this story we're going to tell on. If anyone's super interested, the document we use to make that, all the notes we have for that, is available to our Patreon subscribers. And you can find that at patreon.com/Crumbling Keep. And there's going to be all kinds of goodies going up there in the future, too. And if you're interested in our podcast, there's early episodes happening there as well. But anyway, let's talk about that for a while. Who wants to talk about the Microscope sessions? What have we learned so far?
There are a lot of factions, and they come in and out of style. Like the daggers that go into and out of people's backs.
Yeah, already before starting this game, there has been a lot of backstabbing and intrigue between the guilds, for sure.
Let's see. There's this whole thing based around the Staff of Wonders, which has inspired a cult that is on the rise right now as we start the game, that are kind of like calling for bringing back the once more religious overtones of this city and stuff, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a little note on Shadazar, this isn't a Conan mythos itself, not something we created. It was a city of temples and religion. This, for those of you looking at the screen here, this little middle section here, the center of the city, was all temples around the outside of it, around the common courtyard. And they have long since been abandoned by the original constituents who have moved to places like, the name's escaping me. It's the region this is in, the country this is in, or kingdom. Zamora, thank you. The city of Zamora, not the country of Zamora. It's like New York, right? Zamora. So a lot of the temples have moved into Zamora, leaving the temples in Shadazar to house thieves guilds and houses of ill repute and other non-savory types and actions.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely we described in our Microscope game a kind of period of relative chaos among the guilds, the thieves guilds of Shadazar, with the night of the blood moon, which was all sorts of assassinations and reprisals, and then guilds splitting up into new factions, people leaving those factions to join with others. It was a lot of back and forth, and kind of just a shakeup of the established landscape as it had been.
And at the center of a lot of this was a guy named Urquhart.
Oh yeah, let's not forget about Urquhart.
He spearheaded and backstabbed his way through a lot of this, and formed several guilds, and then disbanded several guilds, and is now leading the cult of the staff. And he is a mysterious butthead.
So he was supposedly, as bad as they come, used to be part of the Guild of Shadows, and had disappeared for a while, leaving his old guild wondering WTF, which caused a lot of ripples in the underworld. Like, everyone knew Urquhart, and everyone wanted to know where Urquhart was. But when he came back, the table is the ruling council of the guilds. The table, it has some members from various guilds on it, and they set the laws for the guilds and deal with disputes, yada yada yada. But anyway, he's returned. He marched into a table meeting, followed by a dozen white-hooded acolytes, and looked healthier and younger than he had before, and calm where at once he was furious, and announced that he was bringing religion back to Shadowzar, that the temples would hold the gods again. And, obviously there seemed to be something a little fishy about what was going on. But, yeah, so the guilds are generally not a fan of this. And our session of Microscope ended with the table discussing the matter and deciding that the Thousand Hands of Fortune needed to make peace with the Guild of Whispers. The Thousand Hands of Fortune is a guild that all of our player characters currently belong to, and the Guild of Whispers, well, once upon a time, Urquhart led them. And so they had been not at peace for a while now, and there's a lot of tension between them. But to make a more unified front, that was probably the biggest rift in all the Thieves Guilds. They decided the best thing to do is smooth over that and send them both to steal a artifact from a caravan outside the walls of Shadowzar that may help them with the Urquhart issue.
The whole Urquhart situation,
if you will. So,
Quandary.
oh, well done.
It's weird. I could see our viewership drop as you said that. It's weird.
You know. Bye, Aaron. Sorry.
But on a serious note, does anyone have anything else before we actually start this shindig off? I will take that as a no. So, without further ado, Crumbling Keep, Tales from the Tower, brings you the very first episode of Conan the Thief.
Sweet.
So, so your screen should be changing. Well, they'll be changing shortly for you all. And just get you on the right map. So word has come from the table. It's time to bury the axe between the Thousand Hands of Fortune and the Guild of Whispers. They told you about a caravan going through a pass outside of the city of Shadowzar, and that it contained some sort of idol that is rumored to be powerful. No one seems to know what it is that it is able to do, only that it contains some sort of magic. And after spending about 2 days riding on horses provided to you from the table, you have reached a desert pass. From up above, unseen by those below, you watch as they navigate the pass. It looks like there's 2 groups of soldiers, one in the front and one behind. And, you know, there's nothing too terribly dangerous looking about them. They carry steel, and you're outnumbered by them, but they look like they're there for the paycheck. Surrounding the wagon are 5 acolytes in hoods that cover most of their faces, the hems of their robes sweeping the ground as they walk, leaving little trails as it drags the sand beneath them. And just a little ahead of the wagon, there's a man with a striking red beard and long, greasy red hair. A scar goes across the length of his forehead, from what you can only imagine. He is large and burly, rippling with muscles, and he looks certainly far away from home. He looks to be a veneer man, if your guess is correct. Now with you, from the Guild of Whispers, there are 2 other representatives. There is Gort and Varesh. Varesh wears a robe himself and has, thus far in your ride, stayed away from any dirty work. He wears a mask over his face of porcelain all time, and his voice comes out in near a hiss. There's something about his manner that is unnerving, yet almost hypnotic when he talks, in a way that's a bit discomforting. Gort is a huge Sumerian, barely speaks your language. He seems to do nothing without Varesh's consent, and speaks very little. There's a certain flicker of madness and anger that you've caught in his eyes. You're not sure what that's going to look like when it's unleashed, but you are pretty certain that you don't want to be on the receiving end of it. And the 6 of you find yourself above the cavern, or the pass now, looking down upon them.
So the gentleman with the red beard and the burly guy, that's this one?
Sorry, I wasn't on the screen at the moment. Were you speaking about the one pretty much in the middle? Yes, that's absolutely the veneer man.
Okay.
He looks to be a hired mercenary of some sort.
But maybe he cares more than the other hired mercenaries who seem bored and like they're just going through the motions.
If you would like, you can give me a... Let's see, what do I want you to give me? Sorry, it's been a few weeks since we played.
Like insight.
Yeah,
insight sounds proper.
Insight. Cool. I have some sort of...
So the way rolls work in Conan, Adventures in an Age Undreamed of, it's called the 2d20 system. So you always start off with 2 20-sided dice. There's ways you can add more dice, which we will probably get into later. But your goal is to basically roll beneath the relevant stat, and each time you do, it's counted as a success.
So I rolled 2 successes. Also, I have a talent related to my insight, where if the target of my insight check, or if I made an insight check about something that is sorcerous or otherwise kind of magically unnatural, you have to tell me that.
Excellent. Not so much in Veneer Man, but we'll get to more of that in a moment. Surveying the scene below you, Ulrika, it seems that the Veneer Man moves with a certain amount of purpose. There's a certain something to his gait and stride. There's a pantherish ease to it, which looks like he could spring at any moment. His isn't a discipline born out of training and drilling. His is born from the battlefield, and it shows by watching the way he walks, as opposed to these men in armor with their swords around him. They seem like they perhaps learned to fight more in courtyards than they did in the wilds. There is something unnerving about the cultists. And now, what is it about something arcane? Can you repeat that part for me?
Sure, I'll read you the talent. So, this talent, Sixth Sense, comes into play in the event of an ambush, which hopefully we're about to ambush them rather than the other way around. If the insight test was requested because of sorcerous or unnatural phenomena, the GM has to tell me.
Okay, no, that doesn't seem like it fits here.
Okay.
Okay, I have a talent. Honest Corruption, which states, in a land of corrupt merchants and honest thieves, you have gained a sixth sense about those who are likely to betray you. When interacting with a non-player character for the first time, you can make a free average thievery or counsel test to gain a general feel for the trustworthiness of the NPC.
I might have to rule that sounds more like interact in a sense of like direct interaction, like actually speaking to or having your presence known.
So we haven't technically met up with them yet?
No, this is the caravan that came to thief from. So no, you're looking down on them from above.
Are you talking about Cobra Commander and the that we with us?
Yeah, Gort and Baresh.
Oh, yeah. My apologies. Okay, I thought you were talking about the.
No.
Okay, so it allows you to. I'm sorry. It allows you to roll extra dice for that, or what's the story again?
It allows me to make an average thievery or counsel test. I'll use thievery.
Excellent. That is absolutely allowed. Oh, and also...
Yeah, basically, if we steal this thing, are these guys going to take it? Like, do they have ulterior motives here? Are we all on the same page?
Awesome. Also, Ulrika, you can take one momentum for that check you made, by the way, since it was awesome. One more success than needed.
Nice.
Are you using that?
I'm going to keep track in the we have that shared character sheet for momentum.
Oh yes. Okay. All right, well I guess I'll leave that. We're not in combat yet. We might want to thievery, where are you at? There you are. Okay, so 2 dice. Ooh, that's 3 successes.
Nice.
And it was an average test, D1.
All right, so that seems like there are 2 more successes than you need. So that is momentum. Congratulations. So in this game, momentum is one of those ways you can gain extra dice. You can spend it 1 for 1 to add another dice to your roll before you roll it. And there's all kinds of other things you can spend it on too. It's this great kind of meta mechanic that I feel really works story-wise. But anyway,
I have a question.
yeah, by all means.
So I want to I want to learn a little bit more about the surroundings that we're in here. Specifically, these rocks that we're hiding behind here. Are these like really attached rocks? Are they loose rocks? Because I'm thinking that, and maybe I have to spend a momentum to make this storyline like, story serendipitous or not. But if these rocks can be toppled over down in this ravine, it would cut off half of the soldiers down here.
Oh, that's a great plan.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that
And Gort, I feel like
would definitely be on board with.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me handle Brad's role first, and then I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
But I feel like we can work something out.
Good.
So, you have been traveling together with Gort and Varesh for 2 days now. And Varesh is crouched up next to you above the unwitting merchants, or whatever they may be, down below. And he looks to you and points down with a thin, long finger. There is the item we look for. And your skin tingles just a little bit, as it generally does when he talks. Gort looks murderously down at them, which is about the only way you ever see him look at anything. And there's just something about them that none of you all quite trust. Especially since they're from the Guild of Whispers, and you were told by your leader that you were making peace, and that was pretty much it. So this is really your first outing with these people that up until 48 hours ago were your enemies. So no, you don't implicitly trust them. Now, as for these rocks standing at the edge of this, it appears that, I'm going to put one of these words in bold here, if fortune bold is with you, you could probably get some rocks to tumble down.
Oh, fortune, you say?
Oh, I do say fortune.
I believe I have 2 points of fortune.
Oh, so everyone starts off with 3, if I am correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Every session.
And if you do awesome things, you can tell me you deserve more.
So where are these inherent ones? Like, somewhere on my sheet it was just like, oh, you have 2. I was like, all right, cool.
If you're using the sheet in Roll20, it's there's little checkboxes for fortune points right above your wounds and trauma.
Aha. Okay. I will spend one of my fortunes.
Excellent.
I walk around saying, well, I don't really want to go down there and fight these people, and I pull a little, like, one of those flip fans out and, like, fan myself a little bit, and I go, oh, it is just far too hot out here today. And I put my hand up against the rocks and realize that they're kind of crumbly a little bit, and say, everyone, that gives me an idea. And I pitch the rock idea to everyone.
I am all for it.
Sounds wonderful.
Like, kind of glare at this big hulking Gort, and I'm like, look, here's something you can help with.
I stand back and let the brawnier people take care of it. Merely the idea man.
Got a 12 brawn. So I'm pretty buff.
Yeah, go get him.
But I'm also all about stealth, so...
So Gort looks to Varesh, his jaw unmoving, and Varesh nods. Yes! Yes!
Oh, this guy is creeping me
Ugh.
out. Well done making your creepy NPC creepy.
You're welcome.
He drew from personal experience.
So Gort goes up to the rocks and puts his back to a particularly large one and starts to heave, the thews in his legs growing tight as his mouth opens as if in a grunt, but not a single sound escapes. You can see the veins throbbing in the side of his head. If someone wants to roll me a check for him, you know what? Never mind. I got this, guys.
Aw.
I don't want to
Good
give away,
job.
I don't want to give away what his stats are too much, though I might.
Alright.
There you go.
Those are two very low numbers.
Ooh. Yes, that is.
Gort, man, come on.
You got this, Gort.
Get it together, Gort.
You got this, bro.
Okay, so that is 2 successes for Gort, which is what he needed. So there's no momentum gained, or rather no doom, since they are NPCs. The rock rocks forward and rocks back, and Gort redoubles his effort, his shoulders digging into the stone until it goes suddenly loose and he sprawls out flat on the rocks in front of you. And you hear the sound of the rock going down the hillside, banging off the other rocks along the way. And it is a almost impossibly loud clatter.
Okay, good.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, well, let's not get too excited.
I was about to say, oh man.
You know what, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a chance on that guy. Let me just pull up his sheet and we'll see if he can get out of the way. Because, I mean, he is pretty much right in front of where you are. I would be remiss if I didn't admit that.
Yep.
Okay, and we're going to actually spend a point of doom to give him another dice.
Yeah, you will.
Oh!
Mm.
Okay, so he jumps back out of the way of this stone. However, let's see. The throwing axe that he had in his hand is dropped as he jumps and gets pinned under the stone. So what just happened is I rolled a 20, and unlike other games where 20 is cause for much celebration, in the 2d20 system, 20 means complication. So our man on the ground there just had a complication, lost one of his weapons. Alright, so we're going to start the action round now as all of the characters below know something is going on. So in Conan, there is no initiative. The player characters get to go first.
So Colimir, when Gort started trying to push the boulders, and it seemed as though he didn't need any help, Colimir was going to start making his way using the shadows of these boulders to get down. And behind them,
Alright, go ahead and give me a stealth.
actually, oh yeah, we'll do that. Okay. So stealth. The top 2. All right, and I'm gonna use 1 momentum to give me an extra die.
Oh, this looks like some good rolls there.
Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah, sweet. So four successes.
That is absolutely 3 momentum, as their attention is certainly elsewhere on the large rocks that just crashed down, blocking off the path, separating them from half of their company.
Okay. Does stealth take my action? Yeah, that was like a test, so...
Yes, indeed. But you're certainly
Alright.
unnoticed.
Okay, so I'm gonna post up there for a minute. See what goes on.
Alright. Who wants to go next?
Oh, damn.
Griffin. Up here on this rock, he's gonna stay right here and he's gonna get his bow ready. And knock an arrow and kinda... You said this guy's pinned under the boulder, right?
His throwing axe is pinned under the boulder. I mean, he has more than one axe, don't get me wrong. You don't leave home with just one axe, but his throwing axe is behind the boulder.
Yeah. Griffin's gonna kinda stay up here hidden with his bow ready. And he's gonna take an exploit action on this guy here.
Nice.
Kind of see what this guy's all about, his armor and everything, you know. See where his weakness is, you know.
One of my talents gives me an extra momentum for successful stealth checks, so I'm adding that to the momentum list. Which brings us to a total of 6. So, use them up.
So, yes, you can only get 9. So this ambush is going well for you. So Criven stands there, bow drawn, picking his mark, looking for weak spots. Next up.
Ulrika is going to also try to stealth down toward the canyon floor. And I'm going to use one of the momentum that we have in the pool. So, 2 successes.
Alright, that's, again, 1 more success than you need.
Okay. And the zone movement, so I can kind of get down to here. Is that then?
Oh, okay, so I'm sorry, I should have mentioned zones,
what are our
since this isn't
zones?
clearly marked. So you do see there's a line here that separates the front half and the back half as a zone. This little area you're in on either side is a zone, and I'm also going to treat the rock faces as a zone as well. So it's a zone of movement to move through those rock faces. Going down, we'll say, is not difficult, and I won't require a test. Going up, on the other hand, will be.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to try to find a kind of ledge or crevice where it's close enough to the canyon floor that I could spring out if need be, but still relatively under cover.
Which you have no trouble finding. Alright, Justin, what do you got for me?
So, since I'm not really one to run into the fray, I'm gonna move back. However, is there a way I can, demoralize the other team just by, yelling? Not the threat damage or the threatened damage, but because I don't think I'm close enough to do any threats, but, I just, try to mass persuade people and stuff? Just yell things at people? Is that totally within my wheelhouse?
Normally, yes.
Okay.
I think you're going to be a little too far away to do it now, though.
I don't want to do damage. I just want to yell to be heard and persuade people.
You could get across simple ideas from where you are. You're far enough away now that they could hear a "hey," but it might be difficult to blather out a sentence. You know what I mean?
Okay. Where would I have to move to be able to be heard?
I would say for what you want to do, one zone down would probably be close enough to be able to get like,
here?
yeah, like that still won't be close enough to do actually like threat damage type stuff.
No.
But it'd be enough to like,
Um.
yell down from above, whatever it is you want to do.
Cool. I will. I'm just gonna yell down and persuade the soldiers in the back, like this isn't worth the fight. Throw down your weapons now, and you'll be spared.
All
See
right.
if I can get some dudes that look obviously tired of this shit to just walk away. You know.
Go ahead and give me a persuade roll.
I don't know what that means on the.
So you got 2 successes on your persuade roll.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
let's see what that means for us here. We're gonna make that a opposed roll and see what they think about this.
Oh, also, while this is going on, P.S. Everyone that can see or hear me, that's a friend of mine. You have 2 morale soak, just from like hearing me talk. And if you're in close range of me, you get 4 morale soak.
Nice.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's pretty rad.
just my countenance just is that great.
You're such a soothing presence.
Yep, I'm wanting to figure out how to make a bard, so this is the closest I could get.
It is cool, like the amount of customization that you can get out of.
Oh yeah. Uh-oh, that guy had a complication.
Oh
Two
no.
of complications. Okay,
Oh man.
Nice.
so we're gonna rule that the one in the front there, which seems to be in charge, yells back to his men, "Hold your dogs, they're only thieves. This is what we're here for. We'll wet our blades in their blood." The 2 in the back are like, "Yeah, you do that. We're gonna check out what's not here." And they start, they turn and run after seeing the ambush of the boulders.
Nice.
Alright, so I believe that is all of you, correct?
Ta-da.
So we got 2 of them to turn and break.
Correct.
Cool.
And we got the other half of the army stuck on the other side of the boulders. Not a bad opening move, everyone. Good
So
job.
You hear Varesh from above you, unless you're Justin, you hear him from beside you.
Ah!
Gort! Go, Gort! Get the idol! And Gort lets out a bestial yell as he begins to leap down, not worrying about any stealth, to the bottom of this thing,
Gort!
picking its way down the rocks. It's the most you've ever heard him speak, and it's a little unnerving.
I feel like he just yells his own name out. Just,
I was pretty proud of that name.
Gort.
So,
It feels so fitting.
alright, so the soldiers are going to take a look around and try and figure out where the source of all this sound is coming from. As it is now all of the quote-unquote bad guys' turns. Okay, so the captain turns and points. There they are, in the rocks! The acolytes don't see you, but they start getting in between you and the wagon, knowing that you're out there somewhere. The Veneer Man turns and looks at the Cimmerian standing in front of him. You're a big one, aren't you? I've killed bigger in your homeland. And runs at him with an axe.
I feel like that's like people swapping fishing stories. Well, I've killed a barbarian this big. Oh yeah, well I once killed a barbarian this big.
No way.
And he does hit him with said axe. Let's find out where. In his left leg, swinging in an arc from up above, Gort goes to dive out away with his panther's reflexes, and the axe catches him in the leg. Likely just a haft, but let's see what damage looks like here.
Are his sandals okay?
Yeah, his sandals are cool. Don't worry about his sandals.
Good thing. We all need the sandals, you know.
Wow. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 effects rolled on that axe.
Nice. Axes are brutal too.
Let's not get hit by that guy.
Yeah.
That's what Gort ears for.
Yep.
Alright, so each one of those is going to be an extra point of damage.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Soak that up
Yeah,
there.
you just took that leg right off, didn't you? Close to it.
So the axe actually does, like, cleave into his leg. Oh, wait, let me see. Maybe he has armor. Armor might save him from this. Because otherwise, I mean, Gort's not going to die, but Gort's about to get hurt real bad if Gort doesn't have armor. Say Gort again. I dare you.
Yes. What's the Gort report? Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Yay.
Yep.
Oh, our numbers just dropped again.
Yep.
Tick, tick.
Okay, so Gort is still getting smacked pretty hard, but he's only taking 1 wound instead of 2.
did you apply his soak?
Yes, I just did. Alright, so the blade of the axe still goes into his leg, biting flesh. And Gort doesn't make a noise, but stumbles back out of range a little bit before steadying himself and gazing murderously at the Veneer Man. Alright, so that's the end of that round. Someone take away 1 momentum, because at the end of each round, you lose a momentum. And it's your turn again.
So the guys up here saw all of us?
It seems like the captain did. And the captain's the one in the front with both hands on the sword as far as miniatures go.
Because he was looking around for us. I guess.
Well, he's the captain, you know. He's smarter than everyone.
That's why he makes the big bucks.
Criven is gonna see that, you know, he sees that Gort's totally tangoing with this Veneer Man. So he turns his attention to this captain dude. And he lights off an arrow. It's our turn, right?
Yes, indeed.
Sweet.
So, real quick, after looking up the weapon, it also that the Veneer Man used, it also had the intense quality, so it does actually give Gort a second wound. However, without that soak, it would have given him 4 wounds. So, 2 instead of 4 isn't bad, but yeah, Gort definitely takes an axe to the leg. So, my apologies. Tell me about this arrow.
It's flying through the air. And how much momentum do we have?
5.
I'll spend 1. For 3 successes.
Alright, 3 successes are going to hit.
Is that 2 momentum?
Yes, indeed. He probably should have tried to get out of the way, but we'll say he didn't see it coming.
I'll adjust that right quick. And, yeah. So that's 2 piercing. And then I actually had an exploited action gains 2 piercing, like piercing 2.
Right.
So with my weapon, that'd be piercing 3. Would that be 6 piercing right there? With the 2 effects? I would think, right?
So you get 2 from the effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how much do you get from the exploit?
Well, I got 2 from the exploit, and then my weapon already has piercing 1.
Okay.
So that'd be piercing.
So for each effect you roll, that's 1 piercing then. So that's 2 piercings for the effects, and then 2 for the exploit. So it'd be 4 altogether.
Alright, cool. And then I actually have a talent for re-rolling zeros. I can re-roll 2 of them.
Nice.
On that damage roll. That's 5 damage with 4 piercing.
Okay, that is going to be enough to bypass any armor. Your arrow flies through the air, and as he starts to close in on Gort with a grin, reveling in his last strike and what he managed to do to this beast of a person in front of him, an arrow goes through his armor and into his side, and he yells into the air, turning his gaze to look at you.
Since we've been detected, I am going to yell up to... Colin Benner's going to yell up to Ulrika and Ramesh.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
To cover their eyes, and Kalimir is going to throw out a Sootli bomb. That's what they're called.
Tell me about him.
It's a special thievery item. It's an unassuming little thing, a wreath of jute twine spun around a small alembic, which, if anyone can decipher that. What's a small alembic? Either way, it's mostly commonly found in Vendia and used in celebrations at the coronation of a new queen. When thrown at the ground with sufficient force, the alembic explodes, activating a curious powder within it, igniting the jute and causing a blinding flash of light and a deafening roar. So it's basically a stun bomb. And he's going to throw it right here in between them all.
Okay, and let's talk alembics for anyone curious. It is from Arabic, meaning cup, beaker. It's an alchemical still, or alchemical, perhaps, still, consisting of 2 vessels connected by a tube used for distilling chemicals. So I imagine the action of throwing it brings the 2 liquids together and makes them do the thing.
Yeah.
Alright, so... do I roll things, or do you roll things?
To be honest, it didn't really...
Okay. You mind taking me through the description one more time?
Oh, wait, hold on. Equipment. It just says damage and effect. It doesn't...
Okay. Read it to me one more time.
When thrown at the ground with sufficient force, the alembic explodes, activating a curious powder within it, igniting the jute and causing a blinding flash of light and a deafening roar.
I think it'd be ranged weapons or something to throw it.
Yeah, indeed. What does it say for damage and effect?
+1 mental. +1 dice mental.
+1 dice mental, huh? Okay, so we're gonna house rule this a little bit, and I will try and remember to look more into it between sessions. And we're gonna say the flash is disorienting, and anyone making a mental attack against anyone caught in said flash is going to get an extra dice of damage, as they are already afraid and scared. This is subject to change in future sessions.
The effect is stun and blinding also.
Alright, so that's kind of important as to... It doesn't have anything like a range or how much it reaches, huh? Hey, what page is it on?
Page 19 of Conan the Thief.
Thank you. Alright, quick, tell us something interesting while I'm looking at this.
He's been holding on to this for a while. He stole it from during the Thief Wars. One of the raids on another guild. And it took him a while to figure out what it was, but he's been holding on to it for the right moment, and this seems like it should be... It's a great time for it.
Okay, so here's now that I've read this, here's what I'm actually thinking. I'm thinking that I'm going to have you roll to hit, just like normal if you're using a ranged weapon. And if you do hit, I'm going to have everyone in the zone, friend and foe alike, you're going to roll damage for them. And it's going to be mental damage. If you roll an effect, it's going to do the stun blinding thing.
So just one die?
Yes, but it does have the effect to stun and blind everyone, which is pretty good. That's pretty much like getting an entire round of... If someone's stunned and blinded, you know?
That doesn't... Because that would only give one dice chance to get an effect.
Correct,
You know
but
what I
it
mean?
makes up for in potency, it makes up for in... what lacks in potency, rather, it makes up for in range. So you have a chance to affect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people with that.
Why don't you spend a momentum to add an extra die to it?
That's very good idea.
That is true. This
Okay.
is one of the reasons I was excited to have Justin here.
Fresh thinking.
Yep.
New ideas.
Listen, this company's on its way to the top.
Alright, well, I'm going to use 2 momentum because I have a really poor ranged... I can't hit a barn door. Alright, ranged weapons.
Nice.
Hey, 1 is enough.
Good.
Alright, so we're going to start back to front, left to right. So feel free to start rolling some damage dice. You're going to need to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 altogether. The 10th one being your frenemy. Gort.
Gort.
Okay, wait, how do you get 10?
3 soldiers plus 5.
Oh, wow, okay. Alright, that added up quick.
Yeah, I told you, it's only 1 dice of damage, but,
Shouldn't it be 11? Does the horse not count?
yeah, no.
Horses.
Wait, so am I rolling 1 dice that many times?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, that horse should be freaking the fuck out.
Alright, starting with Gort. Cool. Next guy.
Alright, so you're going front to back then.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not that dude.
All right, and just remember you can always hit up in the text box to just make it repeat this
Oh,
last action.
perfect.
Hashtag
still
roll
gotta
20
enter it.
tips. Okay. So then in this one.
Alright, when it gets to the big guy, it gets to the big guy, I'm gonna add dice.
Okay, so are you going back to front or front to back?
The front of the column to the back.
Okay, so the big guy
One,
was second.
1, 2. I meant the big guy back here by me.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So then he'll be 1, 2, 3,
The
4.
captain of the mercenaries, whatever.
And he'll be
1,
7,
2, 3,
right?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He'll be 8.
eight.
Okay, don't forget Gort.
That's 6. 7.
That was 7.
Uh-huh. So he's blinded. And stunned.
Yep.
Alright, and I'm going to use 2 momentum on this guy. Haha!
Nice. Double stun.
4 damage, 2 effects. Alright, and the last guys. Nice. 1. Haha!
Nice.
That couldn't have worked out any better.
Yeah.
Those are the guys I was trying to stun, so.
Alright. Well, I'm not going to spend any doom to overcome any of those complications, because that seems like a lot. So, you throw your beaker of sorts. Wow, that was almost a mental wound to the captain. You throw your beaker toward the back of the column, and there's a bright flash of light, causing most to glance over there for a moment. However, the 3 soldiers in the back yell and curse and spit, suddenly very confused about their surroundings and blinded. The captain most of all, as they stumble around groping blindly. Alright, who's next?
I'll go. How close would I have to be to these guys back here, the soldier guys, in order to be considered close range?
You would just need to be in their same zone, so anywhere off the rocks. In these maps, for the most part, and this one isn't the best map, but most of them really are, there's these little gray lines you can see, faint gray lines that separate the zones.
Mm-hmm.
So you just need to be in the same zone as them, and then you're considered close.
Is this the zone? Same zone?
Yes, so if you're like
Okay.
on the ground here, you're in the zone.
All right. So stop me if I'm doing this wrong, guys. But I am going to use my threaten power since they're all blind and stuff. I'm gonna spend what was it? I'm not gonna. I'll spend a bonus thing to do die. Never mind. I'm just talking out loud. Okay, I'm gonna threaten just the captain guy here. And I'm going to play on the fact that he's blind and say your blind arrogance has cost your men their lives. And a threaten check is what I'm rolling. Yeah.
Yes, he's gonna oppose it. He's gonna try and steal himself. So I spent a doom to basically make it an opposed roll.
Okay. What do I do?
You're gonna roll the same thing you roll, but you need to now get more successes than I do for it to take effect.
Okay. How do I know what to roll? Is it just a persuasion check, or is it a threaten roll? Is a
Brad, I think you might be better suited to answer that one than me.
yeah.
Say again.
What's the threaten roll? Like, what am I? How do I roll it?
Persuade,
You're gonna roll
right?
persuade. Yes.
Okay. Boom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude. That's 3 successes.
Mhm.
Oh, well. I'm not going to win this roll, but let's see if I at least take away some of your momentum you would have gained. I sure don't. Alright, so that's going to be 2 momentum.
Okay.
That you can
I'm gonna spend one of those momentum to do extra die of damage to this guy.
Okay.
And then I intrinsically get a bonus die of damage for my force of presence when I do mental attacks. And then they do 2 die of damage normally. So it's 4 dies worth of damage is what I'm getting here.
Plus, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Nope, that's not how you do it. I don't. Yeah, I
If
don't
you
know my
hit the
commands.
combat dice button on the bottom of your page, that's what you want.
Oh, okay. So I'm rolling 4 of them.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
3, and then I do 4 bonus damage.
Do you have any effects?
For your presence.
Yeah.
Do you have any effects
Do I have any
tied
effects?
to that?
Stun. He's further stunned.
Okay, so the color drains from his face, and his sword drags along the ground as he stumbles backwards, putting his back against the wall. And you can see a real, genuine fear grip him. How much fear, you ask? Let's check that out. Oh, yeah.
It does. Threaten does 2 damage, and I do 4 bonus damage.
So you how many altogether, Justin, again?
I do a threaten attack does 2, and I do 4 bonus, so that's 6 right there.
Okay. So he has a little bit of soak, but combined with the flashbang from earlier, that's going to be enough to. So if you do more than 5 stress, which you'll do even with the soak, it's going to cause him an instant wound. And you're also going to do more than his strain threshold. Strain is kind of like your buffer before you actually start taking damage, right? So once you run out of strain, you take a wound. So he's running out of strain, taking a wound from that, also taking a wound from your... since you did 5 or more at the same time, which is enough to quote-unquote kill him. Anyway, so the guard stumbles backwards, the tip of his sword dragging a line in the sand, his back hitting the rock, and he shouts, his eyes on seeing, "Devils! Devils about! Flee, men, flee! There are devils about!" And he takes off running down back the way he came. Alright, next up.
Alright. I am going to... is this wagon, does it have, like a cloth top to it? Is it a hard, top?
There is no top to it, but its meager contents are covered with a cloth, and you can see rough outlines below it.
Okay. Would I be able to jump onto it?
You would absolutely be able to try.
I would be able to try.
I will give you... It'll be a difficulty 2.
Okay. Cool. So, I'm going to, use acrobatics to, jump onto the wagon, and I am going to use, momentum with that. So, can I give you a doom to avoid that complication?
I'm afraid not. It's too good.
Ah, damn it. Well, I got 3 successes and a complication.
All right, so Ulrika leaps into the air off the stones. It's almost a little crouching tiger, hidden dagger-ish, but a little less unrealistic. Sure. Lands in the wagon with a loud thud, sending all the cultists stumbling backwards just from her very presence. They had no idea where she came from. And the horse gets spooked already from there's so much going on already. This horse starts running, and I'm going to have you give me either an acrobatics or athletics check to not get thrown from this cart.
Okay. Well, acrobatics it is. Well, is 1 enough?
We'll give it to you for 1.
Okay.
Nice.
The horse gets spooked and goes off running, and I just kind of hit the deck and try to flatten myself onto the bottom of the cart so I don't get totally whipped off my feet.
And you manage to do so as the horse nears those rocks that fell from above and takes a sharp turn, almost throwing you right into the area of our Veneerman friend there who is fighting Gort. But you manage to hold on. Alright, that's all of you, yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
Alright, so Gort.
Maybe a quick intermission.
Let's finish the round out and then intermission.
Okay.
So Gort rides a motorcycle apparently. Springtime in Portland,
Gort's so
everybody.
cool.
Watch out for that guy.
Gort just hauls ass out of here with a spray of gravel.
Does he have a
What?
leather jacket in case he needs to go into a controlled slide?
Absolutely.
Obviously, this is Gort we're talking about. Gort is a madman, but he's not a dummy. I'm gonna spend a doom as Gort basically lunges backwards away from the Veneerman out of his range and climbs up onto the rocks. Let's see if he climbs up to the rocks.
Coward.
What the heck, Gort?
I mean, all of his physical tasks are too harder now because of the amount of damage he has. But
What's
thankfully, Cimmerian was born to climb, and he does just that, climbing up to the next ledge. And seeing the condition of his companion, Varesh actually starts moving to join the fray.
Oh, God.
Comes down, picking his way delicately down among the rocks to stand beside where Gort is. Let's see.
Gort.
The 2 guards are blinded. This...
And their captain told them to flee.
Oh no! Wait. This one's also blinded. I forgot about that. All right. So this cultist runs and chases after the wagon, and the other 3 that can still see turn. One of which is... Let's see. Well, one of which is going to run toward Calamir. Calamir? Is that you? Sorry, I'm still getting used to the tokens.
Yes.
Okay. Is going to run toward you. One of them is going to run toward Ramesh.
That ain't cool, man.
And the other one's going to start climbing these rocks to do in what he sees as wounded prey. And he manages to climb the rocks and get next to Gort. Alright, so Calamir, the cultist, rears up with his dagger. And
I don't know if I don't think I'm good at parrying. Nope. I'll forego. I'll let him try. I guess I don't have my axe out. I didn't say I did.
And you did just throw the thing.
Yep.
And it gets 2 successes, so that's going to give me a point of doom, which I will spend immediately to get some extra damage. So the cultist hefts the dagger above him in both hands above his head, and goes to drive it downward. You raise your hands in front of you to try and ward it off. Let's see what the damage looks like.
You want to roll the hit location?
Oh, I guess that's important. Man, it's all about the left leg, I swear.
I know.
Not my sandal straps.
I'm going to add a custom location to this game. It's going to be Sandal Strap. Alright, so Unforgiving activates on this guy.
Fuck you. Sorry, we are explicit, aren't we?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I thought so.
Alright, so Unforgiving thankfully only matters if there was an exploit action, and there was not. So, it's just going to be 3 damage as your back gets pinned against the rock as he drives you backwards and manages to leverage the point of the dagger next to your leg. Which, we'll say it doesn't actually, since it's not going to do you any harm, we'll just say that's tiring you out. So we'll say the whole reason you lost strain was just to struggle trying to keep that dagger away from you. Alright. Then the one by Ramesh.
By strain, you mean fatigue?
Yes.
Or vigor?
Vigor. Just regular vigor.
Okay.
Ramesh, the one that approaches you, is going to try to play your own game.
Okay.
And looks into your eyes. Our God will see you in the pits. And,
oh, you sweet summer child.
And he's going to make a steely glare at you. You have the option, if you would like. You can give me a doom to make a resistance roll. Or you can just see if he hits and take it.
I can't, what about a reaction? I can't react to defend?
Well, that's
what he's saying.
Yeah, that would be.
Oh, but it
reaction.
costs a doom. Oh, okay. I didn't read that part until just as you said it. Got it.
Yeah.
What would that look like if I were to give you a, what would my...
It's a discipline roll under willpower.
So it'd be an opposed roll.
Alright, why not? Let's do this.
Give me that sweet, sweet doom.
Why not? You already got 9, whatever. 10's not gonna stop you.
It's so delicious.
Yeah.
Alright, so... I'm gonna spend that doom and give him an extra dice.
Great. Super cool.
Because it's like Christmas.
Yeah.
Alright. That and he's not very good at what he does. So... Number to beat... Let me just look at his stats here. Alright, so I have 2 successes, and you also have 2 successes. So it is a wash. You steel yourself against him, believing in no such god. And finally, Ulrika, sorry. I swear I would get that right. The cultist chasing the wagon leaps into it and faces you with dagger bared. Do you wish to try and parry said dagger?
I do not.
All right. So that's going to be 2 successes because I managed to roll a 1.
Yeah.
And,
Getting lucky over here, this guy.
I am. I'm having some rolls today. I'm going to bank that extra success as a doom.
Doom!
And just 1 stress as he swipes with it wide and you leap back out of the way.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the end of that round. I'm going to have you all lose a point of momentum. And we're going to take a little break.
Sweet.
Cool.
It's going well so far.
Yeah, it's nice to get into actual encounter. So in the interim, we're going to play a little video for y'all of just explaining Conan's Modiphius, or Modiphius's Conan game. So enjoy, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Know, O Prince, that between the years when the earth swallowed whole the purple-towered kingdom of Fallujah, and before the rise of the followers of Daius, there was an age forgotten and undreamed of. In those bright and bygone years, mighty kingdoms rose and spread across the world. Acolonia, under the standard of the Phoenix, the frost-shrouded lands of Nordheim, the alabaster ports and wide-beamed ships of Argus, haunted woods held by the savage Picts, the serpent-warded Stygian deserts bordered by the Styx, the bleak, fog-bound hills of dour Cimmeria, and lands further still, lands far beyond even those storied places.
The first Conan story was The Phoenix on the Sword, and in it he leapt to savage life. Many stories followed quickly after, mere glimpses into a saga like no other hero had lived. Barbarian and thief, pirate and brigand, mercenary and scout, Conan was all of these things. Eventually, he became a king.
You have no doubt heard tell of Conan, the Bavarian who stole a kingdom with his red-stained sword hand and crowned himself in iron. But the Hyborian age knew many heroes, and their tales are yet to be told.
Robert E. Howard's Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of is a brand new role-playing game based on this incredible character and world. The team includes industry veterans as well as newcomers, with the most incredible lineup of Conan artists ever, with people like Brom, Tim Truman, Esteban Maroto, Mark Schultz, Thomas Giorello, San Julian, Liam Sharp, Paolo Parente, Alexei Bricklot, Carl Critchlow, Frolian Gardner, Tom Greinberg, Alex Hawley, Simon Bisley, Val Merrick, Jorge Barrera, Darren Barder, Giorgio Baroni, Josh Hass and Michael Sirigos, all under the watchful eye of world-renowned Conan experts and scholars. They're working together to bring you the most authentic Conan role-playing experience yet, focusing exclusively on Robert E. Howard's original stories. We're going to be using Modiphius' 2D20 game system, also seen using Chronicles, Infinity and the John Carter role-playing games. The Conan version has been playtested by hundreds of groups throughout 2015, and the core rulebook will contain everything you need to play original characters in the Hyborian Age.
Follow me into an ancient and exotic world. Fight terrible monsters, alien horrors, hordes of enemies and fiends, mortal and otherwise. Journey across the frozen north. Explore the eastern steppes. Brave the wild jungles of the south. And tread the jeweled thrones of the earth beneath your own sandaled feet.
Are we back?
I'm ready.
I'm here.
Red 5 standing by.
Gold 2 standing by. Justin, all right, this is like your first hour and a half of playing Conan.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So far, it's pretty fun.
So far, you're like, all right, figuring out how this whole momentum thing works.
This is also my first time using Roll20, so this is a big night of firsts.
Nice.
It seems like it's similar to the Star Trek Adventures system.
Totally.
Am I?
You are correct in that. Yeah, this is... Modiphius has a couple of different 2d20 systems.
Isn't Mutant Year Zero under this umbrella too?
Mutant Year Zero is not. It uses the same system that Tales from the Loop does, but they're... God, what's it called? There's another mutant game they do that is.
Oh, right. The one that's called Mutant?
I think it's just called Mutant, which apparently is a... It's like the D&D of Sweden, as in that's been around for a really long time. And
Noodles.
I've oddly found that out by reading Mutant Chronicles is the name of it. But I found out the whole mutant thing from reading Tales from the Loop, because they pay some homage to it. And they mentioned that since the game Tales from the Loop is set in Sweden, or at least one of the settings is, they mentioned that Mutant was a popular game in the 80s, an RPG game in the 80s in Sweden. I was like, oh, I wonder if that's just fluff, or if that's a really real thing. And after looking into it, it is a really real thing, and it's a game that apparently Mutant and Mutant Year Zero are based off of. Now, I'm only familiar with Mutant Year Zero, so I'm not sure how those other two play into it.
Cool.
Yeah, apparently it's a thing. Who knew?
Good to know.
So, Gorg's not looking the greatest. We know that so far.
Got a leg that's kind of barely holding on.
Yeah.
He got chopped.
He done got chopped. Are we still waiting for a Brad?
As far as we're aware.
We're not. I'm here.
Cool.
Oh.
All right.
Cool.
Oh, fun.
I'm reading our listeners' responses.
And yes, we are, well, if you're here, you probably know this, that we are live on Facebook. Feel free to drop us a line about, oh yes, yes, Sarah, they did go from acolytes to cultists. They got promoted quick, it's a tough world out there. Yeah. Once the captain ran away, they're like, well, I guess we're all cultists now.
But I'm senior cultist, right? Like executive cultist?
Sure, Ted. Keep telling yourself that.
Assistant to the executive cultist.
All right.
One of them is about to lose their head, so.
Yeah.
Well, without further ado, let's get back to the action, shall we?
Yeah.
All right, players. Beginning of a new round. You're up.
Calimere hates the fact that he just got cut. He never gets hurt because he's always hidden in the shadows. But apparently this dude is not affected, so he's gonna drop down. Oh yeah, James, they're in a different. They had to climb up to get here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I failed to recognize that you were still a zone away.
Yeah.
So, technically yes, but do you mind just giving it to me for sake of the story?
Sure, if I can, without using an acrobatics roll, jump down off of this and come up behind this guy.
Fair trade, if you can tell me what that looks like.
He's going to do a front flip. So he's facing away and then does a quick, with his minor action, pulls out his axe and in the same stroke attempts to chop this dude's head off. And then I'd like to use a fortune point to attack the guy to his then right.
That dude?
The guy
This one right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's going to hit this guy and then using a fortune point to give himself another action.
Okay.
Sick.
Oh, which reminds me, last round, Ulrika, I meant
Yes?
to give you a fortune point for that awesome leap.
Ah, yes. I will take it.
And,
Probably spend it.
Calimere, you're up for the running in one. We'll see how this goes. If it turns out
Yeah.
cool,
We'll just have to wait and see.
might be a little
All
luck
right.
involved here.
Alright, so do I hit? I'll do hit location after I roll. I'm gonna use one momentum, guys.
So for these guys, hit location isn't too important. It's really only the big bads because they have actual stats and armor.
Okay. I don't like that it just rolled and then knocked the dice. It was probably a good roll.
Did your 3D dice hit each other?
Yes.
That sucks.
Oh, you know what? It actually counted the. Oh no, it didn't. Yeah.
And you do
Either
have
way,
two successes.
that is 2 successes.
So that is one extra success.
Yes. Does it work?
Well, yes, that's enough to hit, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
you only need
Cool.
one to hit.
Alright. So I get 1 momentum.
Truth.
I'm gonna use that to... I believe I can use it to spend... to choose a hit location?
Yes, this is... Well...
Wait, called shot. No, that's 2. Never
yeah,
mind.
and again,
Okay.
these guys are
It doesn't really matter.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Navigating the different windows. And this axe is called Ishtar's Kiss.
Ooh.
Your last character had a thing for Ishtar too. You're
You like this Ishtar?
Well, at night when I'm seeking company.
Ishtar.
You go to your axe? That seems dangerous.
Don't kink
This is
shame.
some rough stuff, man.
Don't kink shame Calamir. And that'll be our new trending hashtag. Hashtag don't kink shame Calamir.
Holy crap. That's
Nice.
10.
I'm
With
sorry.
3 effects.
Did you just say 10?
And that is I guess it's vicious and intense. So that's an extra 3, so it's a total of 13. And then the intense thing should be additional wounds. But like you said, this guy's a former acolyte that thinks highly of himself.
Truth.
He is a cultist now.
Yeah. Okay, so you had a slight higher ground to him as he was trying to stab you in the leg. You jumped and flipped over him, grabbing your axe at the same time and swinging it straight through his neck before he even had a chance to turn around. And it is clean. You hardly feel the resistance as Ishtar's kiss goes through his neck and sends a sacrifice of blood spraying from the hole up to the heavens. A
Well
sacrament
said.
of bloods, perhaps, but... Alright, now someone spent a fortune point to get another attack.
Okay.
Do it up.
There's only 1 momentum left. You know what? There's a good chance. I rolled like really high with that last roll. Would you guys mind if I use it?
Go
to
for it.
try to generate some more?
Didn't
Do
you
it.
generate one on your roll just now because you got 2 successes?
Oh, that's true, and I didn't actually use it. So
we have 2
yes.
momentum.
Yeah.
Spend away though.
You were in that
Yes. You earned it.
Ooh, and those are all successes, and one of them is a double.
one. 4 successes.
It's in my expertise.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's certainly going to be 3 momentum.
Okay.
Worth it.
I'll use 1 to ignore the armor soak, and I'll roll damage. Damage is 7 plus 2 effects, so 9 points damage, and it will add a wound if it causes any. Right? Is it 1 wound for each effect, or?
It
I think it's just 1 wound if they take a wound.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so
What is
9
that?
9 points of
Intense?
damage. Yes, intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like intense doesn't have like a number after it. Like it's not like
It's not like it doesn't stack up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so... What is your total again?
9.
Uh-huh.
And then minus 2 soak.
9 minus 2 soak. Okay, so these two, one of the things about Conan is there's different classes of finger quotes monsters or adversaries. And the lowest class are minions. And minions they're fodder. You know, the player characters are supposed to cut through them right quick. The player characters in Conan they start quite heroic, right? If you've ever, like, read any Conan or read any of the comics, you know what that's like. So anyway, one of the things minions can do is they can just band together in a squad. So you're basically facing multiple of them at one time. And these two are in a squad. Here's the reason that's important right now. You've done 9 points of damage, negating 2 soak, which is enough to negate any soak. 5 damage is enough to do a wound, which means it's enough to kill the person in front of you. Excess damage, which is going to be 4 damage, gets carried over to the next person.
Oh, so I, like, swung, like, wide.
Yeah, you, like, cleaved into him.
So, you know, he still has some, okay, so he's not taking a lot because of his soak, right? Because all of your ignoring soak went into the first person. But yes. You are gonna, like, he's gonna take some strain, so doesn't necessarily mean he's hit, but it means he's tiring or his guard is getting down. So you tell me what this just looked like, all in all, from start to finish.
Okay, so he does the flip over the acolyte, you know, having just been stabbed in the leg. And when he hits the ground, he quickly spins while pulling out his axe and cleaves the first guy's head off. Then makes a quick movement forward, almost like a slide into the next guy as he's, you know, reaching back to put all of his might into the next swing, and it cut the guy's stomach open, and that wasn't enough resistance to stop the axe. And it's, like, stuck into the ribs of the next guy. Or at least maybe dented his armor or something.
Alright.
To the point of breaking one of the ribs or something.
Yeah, that sounds legitimate. He stumbles backwards, wheezing a bit. Alright. Who's gonna follow that up?
That's gonna be a tough act to follow. Damn.
I know, right?
I don't know, you could steal that fucking...
Yeah, like, I got down in this fray for one reason and one reason only, and that's to get my hands on this idol before freaky Mask Varesh does. I don't trust that guy, and the lure of this weird magical artifact is strong. So I'm going to start, I'm going to tear back the cloth covering up the contents of the wagon and see what I can find.
Okay, give me a perception. Help me out, folks.
Observation.
Observation, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. It's funny, we had, so this is the first session of this campaign, but Brad, Frank, and I had been playing Conan together for a while, and I'm, like, scrolling down to look at my talents to be like, is this a talent that this character has, or that my last character had? Alright, that is 2 successes on observation.
Alright, so it was a simple test, meaning it was difficulty 0, so those are both going to translate into momentum.
Sweet.
You yank the cloth from the cart, and it flutters backwards. The cultist that's standing on the back of the cart at this point in time bats it aside as it goes past him. and you look upon all the goods on this cart, and you're seeing jugs of liquid, foodstuffs, a little bit of hay, but not enough to obscure everything. And after a quick glance, there's nowhere on this cart that idol could actually be.
Misinformation?
We've been set up.
Can I like knock on the jugs to see if they sound like they just are full of liquid?
With your roll, you know there's nothing. It's not there. For sure.
I whip around and turn to my companions scattered along the rocks, and I'm like, "What is this? There's nothing here. We've been set up."
All right, who's gonna go next?
I'll go. So, I'm a little dismayed. I'm a little like put off that this guy had the balls to actually try to mental with me. So I give a loud booming voice and I go, "Impudent child!" And I say, "You need to learn your place in all this, whelp!" And I I'm gonna use a threaten thing, but I'm gonna I have my whip at my side, and I'm gonna unsling it and kind of spurl it out to add some whoosh to my,
gusto.
Yeah.
The exclamation point at the end of your sentence?
Yes. Let them know I mean even more business than previously mentioned.
I am not going to spend any doom to defend him.
Great.
He's got it coming, let's face it.
Yep. Looks like I got... Was the green number my successes?
Well, somewhat. If you mouse over it, see how that 5 is green? That means it's actually worth 2 successes, so you got 3 successes altogether.
Okay.
And it's green because it's below your expertise, or is your expertise number or below.
Okay.
So yeah, if you roll below your expertise, it's 2 successes.
Cool. So I'm going to, I will do, let's see, 6 base damage to him with the thing, and now I need to roll a combat die, right? Or for damage? I do 6 damage with the thing. Do I need to
6
roll
combat dice.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, you still roll the dice.
Oh, I rolled 2 combat dice with 4 bonus damage.
That sounds
those are 4 bonus dice.
Oh, is that what we
really?
figured out? Is that all bonus damage is bonus dice?
Yeah, like your attribute bonus and everything is just dice.
Okay, so I guess you roll 6 dice altogether. Which usually turns out better than that, but still.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
And your effect, you have stun on that, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alright. Any momentum spends or anything? Or it's just straightforward damage?
How much momentum do we have at the moment?
6 out of
6?
9.
Oh, yeah, I'll totally spend some momentum for extra damage.
So, okay, cool. How much do you want to spend?
I mean, this guy's like a minion-esque character, right?
Yes, but he looks pretty fanatical. I.e.,
All right,
he may have some soak to mental damage.
I'll spend 2.
Okay,
So roll 2 more combat dice.
You got it.
Nice, there you go.
There we go.
That's 6. Oh, or you could use momentum to ignore soak, the soak of whatever attack you're doing. So if it's melee.
Oh, I could have done the penetration.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can also, 1 point of momentum ignores 2 points of soak as well.
Oh, well. Too late now.
But this'll do ya. He sees the whip and just recoils under your words and starts running away from you.
Yep.
Alright. Anyone else left this turn?
Ribbon.
I'm gonna move back a little bit away from people that want to hurt me.
Nice.
Yep. Now I'm done.
You yelled, and now you're like, okay, that was a lot.
Yep. I'm getting warm. Oh. Yeah.
Fanning yourself a little more vigorously.
Yep.
Criven, up on his little hill, in silence, takes another shot at this this big scary guy. I'll spend a little time on that.
So the whip has the fearsome 2 quality.
Yeah.
Did you account for that?
I didn't attack him with it. I just used it for show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like the salt on top of your eggs, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Also, Frank, he's going to try... I'm spending a doom for him to jump out of the way. Or... Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm doing.
Well, only got one success. Fail.
Alright, let's see what his stats look like there.
You're gonna get nothing. You're actually gonna roll a complication.
No.
Oh, that's kind of the opposite of a complication.
Well, unless he doesn't have expertise, then it doesn't matter.
And then, like lightning,
I mean, it's still 1. But
like lightning, Criven's gonna spend a fortune point, yank out another arrow, and just let it fly. Like the assassin he is. One success.
damn.
Alright. And that's going to be enough, because I didn't say I was... dodging this one.
Guess, I'll spend 1 to ignore 2 soak. Just to get through this guy, you know? Nice. So that's, re-roll that 0 with my talent. Aw. 7 damage, ignoring 4 soak.
Okay.
To the left arm.
Let's take a look at him here. Alright, so... The arrow sticks in him. He raises his shield, which is on his left arm. And the arrow goes right through it, into his arm, shattering the shield. Which he sacrificed to avoid taking a wound. But you still did damage even after that. So, not enough to do a wound, but he's definitely like... He's pretty strained. His shield is shattered. Things are not looking good for this guy right now. Alright, and that's everybody, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So... We're gonna start with Gort. Gort is gonna take a swing at this cultist who... Or acolyte, if you will, that has been climbing up at him. Hashtag just Gort things. Alright, someone roll me 2d20.
I gotcha. Brutal.
That's awesome.
Which is good because he needs...
That's Gort's attack.
He needs, he has 2 wounds right now, so he needs 2 extra successes. This is 4 successes, so that's going to even be 1 point of doom, which I'll spend directly on damage rather than take it for my own devices. For I am a kind and loving DM.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. So nice.
Right? Alright, Gort, what do you got
See
on
how
you?
much you are when it comes to experience points. The audience will know.
Sorry, I'm still getting used to the character sheet that he's on. Ah, there we go. Hello, Broadsword. You know what? No, he's not going to spend it for extra damage. He's going to spend it to ignore soak. And as the cultist climbs up onto the ridge, thinking Gort to be easy prey, you hear Varish hiss, "Gort in front of you!" And he swings his sword downward, severing the arms of the cultist as he's climbing, and he falls down to his doom.
Nice.
Meanwhile, this cultist's conditions finally cleared. Is no longer blind and stunned. Runs and presses themselves up against the rocks behind you. The last guardsman is going to try their luck against Calamir. Do you wish to parry?
Yeah. I might as well try.
Alright, I will take that doom, and I'll spend it to add 1 extra dice.
Oh, well, screw you.
Hey, is melee agility or brawn?
It's agility.
Okay, thank you.
Does it have to be parry? Can I try to jump out of the way?
No, for melee it's gotta be parry. For range you jump out of the way. Oh.
Although there
Oh.
is a talent that you can get later on that lets you use your acrobatics instead of parry.
Boom.
Nice.
Congratulations.
What's he trying to do?
That's all momentum.
Really?
Yeah, he's going for a straightforward thrust with his sword. Tell me what your parry looks like.
So it's just a sideways strike. So maybe I go up over my head and kind of do a circle, and then just bat his sword out of the way.
It's up to you, but you just got 2 momentum, and you can spend 2 momentum to disarm.
Is it my turn?
No, but I think that you just made a test. I would say it's appropriate to spend it there. Your call.
Sure. Yeah, I love the idea of it, knocking the sword out of his hand.
Right? It just sounds too good. So your sword thunders down in a circle onto his and sends it flying from his hand, and they are now weaponless. The cultist on the back of the wagon grins at you, Orica. "It will never be yours," and is coming with their dagger again. Would you like to do anything about that?
I will parry. And I will also spend a momentum on that parry.
Alright.
It's maybe 1 hit. 1 success.
Yeah, I have 1 success.
And I got
Boom.
2 parry.
So one of those is momentum. And then our friend Veneer Man.
And can I do the same thing? Spend 2 momentum to disarm him? Knock the dagger right out of his hand?
Sure, yeah.
Alright. Doing it.
It flies off the wagon into the sand behind him. And the Veneer Man climbs into the wagon with you, leaping up over the side. And they are also... Oh, did you have parrying quality, or do I get a doom for that?
I have a sword with parrying quality, but it was not drawn at that point, so you get a doom for that.
Okay.
Can I draw my sword as I see this this guy climbing up into the wagon?
Unless you... I'm gonna say since it's not your turn, no. Unless you want to spend some, like, fortune or momentum.
I'll spend a fortune point, since you gave me one for leaping down in here.
Okay. Oh, and also that reminds me, Calamir, you definitely get a fortune point
Oh, sweet.
for your leaping death from above.
That was sick.
So he snarls and is swinging his axe with both hands. And I'm gonna spend a doom to add a point. Or add a dice, rather, to the roll. Pretty good roll.
So it's a pretty good roll. My sword does have parrying quality, so I'm going to use that.
Okay.
Ooh. Nope.
Oof. So we got 3 successes. So I'm gonna bank 1 doom and spend one of those on an extra dice of damage. No, that's not true. I'm gonna spend a dice on... No, I'm gonna spend it on extra damage. So that axe swings into your torso.
Oof.
Holy cow.
Yeah, not great. So that's gonna be... That's going to be... That's going to be 10 damage altogether. I don't know if you have any soak.
Yikes, indeed.
What's your soak looking like?
I have, in torso, I have 2 soak.
Okay, so good news. I mean, better news at least than it would have been. So that's going to knock it down to 8 damage, which means you only take 1 wound. But it also has the quality that is giving it a second wound if it does one.
Okay.
So it's going to be 8 strain and 2 wounds.
Alright.
You see your blood running over the blade of his axe as it cleaves through your armor into your stomach. And he says, "It was never meant for the likes of you. I'll bury you in these sands."
I'd like to see you try. And I spit blood in his face.
Yes. Alright, lose a momentum, and it is top of the round.
Alright.
As he's, standing right up in front of me, I go to plunge my sword into his belly.
I'm down to 0 momentum.
Yep. And it glances off the overlapping plates of his armor.
Alright, who's got it next?
I'll dive into help, I guess. So when something has a reach, I have like my whip has a reach of 3. How far is that, essentially?
So it's in the same zone. However, it basically, your reach mostly plays in if someone is attacking you. They have to get inside of your guard, which is the kind of rule I've actually been forgetting this game. So if, say, someone with a dagger with a reach of 1 attacks you with a reach of 3, that means they need 2 extra successes to be able to hit you.
Okay.
You can spend momentum to break a guard if you're on a successful attack.
So basically, I'm trying to do a long shot here, but my whip I can grapple people with, so I want to try to run up closer to this cart thing and see if I can get my whip around this guy's neck and pull him back so I can get Emily some breathing room.
Yeah, so Conan is super loose on distance. Everything's just done by zone. So if you're in the same zone, and zones can change from scene to scene how big a zone could be.
Okay.
You can move around in it and you're cool.
It's a free action to move around it.
Cool. That looks like a good spot in the zone, I guess.
It's a minor action to move from one zone to another.
Okay. So if this is close enough, then I'm going to whip him.
Are you gonna whip him good?
Like,
oh yeah,
real good?
Are we? Oh, we don't have any momentum, do we? Oh shit. All right. Well, cool. Whip is, let's see, ranged technically. A flexible weapon can be ranged or... It doesn't matter, they're both garbage in my hands. Yeah.
You and me both, buddy.
Yep. Helping! Nope.
Yeah, it lashes uselessly against the cart itself.
I'm going to spend a fortune to, even though I only did that to look cool, so I tell the guy that he sucks, for some psychic stunt, for some threat and damage too. That was just to get his attention. So that's 2 successes. Or 1 success, it looks like. Oh, 2. It says 2.
Wow, you must have an outstanding friggin' roll. Alright, 2 successes is enough, and that's 1 momentum.
Okay, I will spend that momentum for an extra die of damage on this guy. So that's gonna be... And I've got 4 with one of those eagle-y things showing, so he's also stunned, if I'm reading this correctly.
I am gonna spend a doom to keep him from being stunned.
Boo.
But yes, you are definitely reading it correctly.
Okay.
He winces a little at your words, but it seems like he might have some mental fortitude. If you know what I mean.
I guess.
Alright, who's next?
Colimir will take care of this fool here. So he disarmed him, right?
Yes, he is swordless right now.
Okay, so he doesn't have a chance to parry. Yeah, he's going to use the momentum of that disarm and swing it around again and give a nice cleave. And there is no momentum, correct?
Nope.
Well, let's see if I can get some. Two.
Alright, that is 1 momentum.
Okay. I'm going to use that momentum to ignore the armor Ignore soak. Or like, yeah. And it will be 6, 9 damage in total, and an extra wound if that does one.
Well, it's a little bit of a moot point, really, that extra wound, but Ishtar's kiss kisses him goodnight.
Can I change the location?
Sure. I mean, he's dead.
Chopped off his arm, and then he's keeps the momentum going. It was like an upward strike that took off his arm, and he's gonna swing it back around and sink it between his legs.
Ishtar kisses him goodnight.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well, hold on. Because fortune points.
Okay.
And what are they good for?
Taking
What are
extra.
they good for? He's going to sprint. And since this is the same zone, he's going to hit this guy from behind.
Everybody hates that guy. Yeah.
Does afford any bonuses?
No, not really.
No. Shield. He can't add a shield, right? If he has one. I think that's how that works.
It might
He broke
be.
Yielded anyway. Remember, he sacrificed his shield.
Yeah, this is true. But I'll tell you what, for next session, if you want that to be true, find the rule for me.
Ooh.
Nice. 4
Oh,
successes.
Oh, 4 successes. Nice.
that's 3 momentum. How are you gonna spend that?
Okay. Ignore 2 armor, or 2 soak. And I will add a damage die, I think.
So you're spending just 2 points of momentum
Yes.
and banking 1. Okay.
So,
Show us that damage.
alright, working on it. Alright. And then... Okay, so 5, 6, plus 4 effects. So 10 points of damage, minus 2 soak, and an extra wound if it causes any.
Alright, so he still had 1 point of soak left. So you're not going to quite get to that 2 wound mark right off the bat.
Okay.
However, pardon, he was out of vigor. So you're going to do 1 wound because you did 5. You're going to do another wound because you went beyond the amount of vigor he has, and 1 wound for your weapon's effect, for a total of 3 wounds.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, like you, he has 5 wounds, but now all of his physical tests are going to be that much harder because he has 3 wounds. So, tell me what this looks like, because you're definitely cleaving into some skin here.
So he sees the guy going after Orica, quickly disarms and dispatches the remaining guard up there, and then full sprint, hands axe over her head, sinks it right into the back of this Veneerman.
Alright, and, you're sprayed with his blood. It certainly works. He was standing there, still his hands on his axe, trying to leverage the blade further into Orica, who failed to stab him. And he yanks the axe back out instinctively as your axe goes into his back, and he arcs his back backwards, pulling his hands back. Which, Orica, gives you some relief and also some more pain at the same time. Alright, I believe Criven is still up.
Criven smiles a little bit and kind of chuckles to himself as he watches his good pal run up and just lay his axe into that dude's back, and then sets his sights on this guy and tries to take out this other guy.
The disarmed cultist?
Mm-hmm. Now that Calamir's kind of, blocking this guy, sticking an axe in his back and whatnot. Thin out the herd a little bit. We have 1 momentum, right?
We have 2 momentum right now, it looks like.
Rich.
I'll spend 1. Bam. For 5 successes. Is he going to try to jump out of the way or anything?
No, I'm not spending any doom on that fool. So that's 4 points of momentum. That's a nice...
Alright. This is 5. I'll spend just 1 to ignore soak. Roll 2 of those zeros. So it's 6 damage minus 5 soak.
Minus 5 soak?
Yep.
Well, this cultist in plate mail, your arrow goes cleanly in one side and out the other. The cultist doesn't even know it hits him. He's dead before he hits the ground. He just falls. The arrow does it seemingly missed all the ribs and just went right through all the organs.
And right after letting that arrow fly, Criven throws his bow on his back and starts making his way down the rocks.
Alright, so that leaves us with our friend the Veneer Man, who turns toward the newcomer and swings downward in an arc from the top of the wagon. I'm going to spend a doom to give him an extra dice. Do you wish to parry?
Yes.
If someone has the... Never mind.
I'm going to use a fortune point to add 2... It adds a roll of 1, basically.
Yeah.
So, whatever dice I roll, I add, though I rolled a 1, which for me doesn't give me 2, I don't believe. Does it? Does it always give you 2?
I think it always gives you 2. We
I
could
think
definitely
it
look that
does.
up.
The fortune point does, at least.
Right.
Not the 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an automatic roll of 1.
But that's my point. If it's in a skill that's not
I think...
specialty.
For the moment, we're certainly going to say that it does.
Okay.
Hey, if any Conan scholars of the Modiphius Gamer listening right now, let us know in the chat or write into us.
Please. Love to hear from you. Oof.
What is a Conan scholar called?
A Conanite.
Okay, so what was his roll? I got 2 successes.
He also had 2 successes. Wait, hold on. He might have had more. Sorry.
A barbarian?
He does need all the extra successes for being totally wrecked.
Yes, this is true. So he got 3 successes.
Can I use a doom to roll another one?
No, you can't once it's actually rolled. But
Okay.
he needed 3 extra successes because of how much...
My reach.
No, because of his health.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's so messed up.
So altogether, he needed 3 successes to hit you. No. 4 successes to hit you. So your 2 successes are actually going to be 2 momentum.
Sweet.
He's weakly, swings down the axe. It's slow, and you find it quite easy to raise your own axe and step to the side. His blade never even meeting yours. It wasn't even that close. Alright, so lose momentum, beginning of the next round.
Oh, should be 6.
Who's gonna do it?
I'll start the round by insulting him again. You're in over your head. You're gonna die. Just accept it, jerk. Yeah. Ooh, there we go.
4 successes.
4 successes on that one.
Alright, so that's 3 momentum.
3 momentum. Okay. I will spend.
Can I interject something with to discuss? Is there a way that you could ask him use your command to ask him where the real artifact was?
I would have
just-
to. I would have to do a different roll because I would be a command instead of persuading. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
so not
That's okay.
this round.
Yeah. Well, if I don't ruin him this round, I guess. So does he have? I will spend 1 of those momentum to ignore his soak.
Okay.
And then I'll spend
That's wise.
1 on extra damage, or I'll spend 2 on extra damage and throw 1 to the pool. Or no, I only had 3 extra, so 2 on extra damage and do nothing to the pool. Forget you, pool. So that's, let's see, 2, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. So 9 combat die against this guy. And he's stunned. 5 damage and he's stunned.
Alright, so that's going to be enough to do a trauma as well. So now he has a mental wound as well. So any mental tasks are going to be 1 step harder.
In his brain, if I'm causing trauma, he realizes that he's becoming exactly like his father.
So he is staggered. He is stunned. He almost slumps back against you, Ulrika. Who's going next?
Ulrika tries to take this opportunity and is he still on the wagon?
Yes.
Okay. He's facing away from her and staggering backwards, and she's going to try to take this opportunity to skewer him as he stumbles back towards her. And so I need 2 extra successes because I have 2 wounds. Is that correct?
Correct. So you need a total of 3 successes.
All right. Well, then I'm going to use some momentum on this.
Yeah. Also, if we end up killing this guy before we get useful information on him, there is that cowering cultist over there.
Yeah.
So,
Damn it.
Oh,
yeah,
what? Him?
we can just tell him. We can just make him
Right? He's
tell us
just
what we need to know.
cowering in the corner.
If he wants to live out his promotion that he just got, he'll tell us what we want to know.
So Ulrika is pressing one hand to her side as she's rapidly losing blood, and so her aim is not as sure as she would like it to be, and she almost gets this brute as he's stumbling back towards her, but her grip on her sword isn't quite strong enough to hold it where it needs to stay to get him.
Alright, who else is going to take a swing?
Here. I may as well try to finish him off. Actually, the momentum left. I'm gonna use some momentum. One momentum to make my attack non-lethal.
Interesting.
So I guess I'll use the flat of the axe. Or the handle, you know? Just smack him between the eyes. Would you like to spin a doom?
Yeah, let's... No, it'd be a waste of doom. He'd have to roll so many successes. He's sloppy.
Isn't he also stunned? Does it
you
make it harder for him to react or anything?
Oh yeah, I'd have to spend a doom to get him unstunned, a doom to get him to... Yeah, that's just a whole mess of doom I don't want to spend on this dying barbarian from the north.
Knock him out, Calimere.
Alright, I'm gonna use another momentum to give me another die. Taking us to 1, I think. Ooh. Yeah, that's 4.
5.
5.
Nice.
That's a bunch of momentum. And just so we're clear, this retrieval thing is going to be the first quest, so to speak, in this. So we're going to basically start a new game next time we play, meaning, i.e. you're starting back at 0 momentum. If that influences anything you want to do with momentum.
Well, I'm going to save some for the attempt of commanding the acolyte, or this dude once he wakes up.
Okay.
But I'm going to try to knock him out here.
Do it.
I'll use 1 to ignore soak. Oh, that's 9.
Damn.
Plus an extra wound.
So
Which should be enough.
the haft of your axe crashes directly in between his eyes as he's swinging his axe weakly from side to side, almost just out of instinct, trying to keep people at bay. But he's tired, and he's weak, and he's lost a lot of blood. And your axe half sounds with a resounding crash. And he sways left and drops to his knees, and then slumps over the railing of the wagon.
Sweet.
You hear... everything goes somewhat silent. Except for a prayer you hear coming from the other side of the canyon. Softly spoken as you see the acolyte kneeling on the ground and rocking back and forth.
Shall we take him too?
I'll just put
Absolutely.
him out of his misery. He's not likely to know anything.
Yeah, if he's acting hysterical, just drop him.
No, but maybe he would be the only person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does this guy...
Yeah.
He seems to be someone in connection with these magical artifacts.
I feel pretty confident in my ability to squeeze information out of people, so we can get a both.
I say we try it.
Yeah, knock him out.
Or will he just willingly be tied up?
Well, what are you doing?
Threatening him with the blade of my axe.
And we're basically, like, taking him as a...
Yeah, taking him as a prisoner.
Okay, so you're to play this threat out.
Do you want to live?
Alright, go ahead and give me a roll.
Wait, for what?
For your threat.
It was more like a persuasion, and I'll allow Ramesh to do that, the talking.
Alright, then Ramesh, tell me how you're talking.
This is gonna be a command. I don't know if this is gonna be a command or persuade, but you can tell me what to roll after. I give him a very simple, direct option: yield or die.
That sounds commanding.
Okay.
You are telling him to do a thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a nat 20 right there.
Oh,
wow. I rolled a 19 and a 20 on that. Can I use a fortune point to try that again?
Well, yeah, we have a bunch of momentum too, man.
Yeah.
Can
I spend some momentum to make those rolls go away?
You can't make them go away.
Can I add momentum to roll more?
If you... Not after the roll. You can do it for damage, but for rolling to pass any skill test, you have to spend a momentum beforehand. So I will let you spend a fortune if you do want to make another attempt.
I do.
And let's see, what do we want that?
Seriously.
But
yield or die.
Yeah.
I'm going to, before that happens, I'm going to use that 20 that you have for your complication, and also spend a doom to basically interrupt your action in the initiative order.
Okay.
So you say that, and he doesn't seem to be shaken out of his prayer at all. He seems to hardly acknowledge you there, almost in like some form of madness has come over him. And you notice Varesh almost gliding past you. And he leans in slowly until his face is mere inches away from the acolytes. And you hear him begin to whisper in that hissing voice of his. If you know where it is, you should tell us. We will not let you go. You will not get to live. But there will be much, much less pain this way.
Ooh, that's the one.
And the cultist looks up with tears in his eyes and starts blubbering, They made me do it. And he looks somewhat green and pale and sweaty and sick. Do what? And the cultist reaches down and grasps his hands around his stomach. And you hear, Ulrika, you hear the veneer man chuckle behind you. Weakly. You fools. We knew there'd be trouble. And he gasps there and spits up a little blood. They wanted to make sure that if any thieves came, they wouldn't find the idol.
So it's in that guy.
Oh yeah.
It's in that guy.
I'm like, so it's inside him that we found it. Okay.
So, should I shrug and just sink that axe into this guy's chest?
Boy, I would.
I was gonna say,
Chop him up into pieces?
Criven walks up and pulls out Tesselgan's knife and just seppuku's this dude.
Nice.
And as for
that
the
one.
barbarian man over here, we don't need him anymore then either. So, you know, he can carry on to the next world or whatever they do.
I'll do that. I want this guy's axe.
That's fine. I flip the fan back out and I'm like, oh, this was all really tiring work.
You're like, ugh, so tedious.
Yeah.
I'll say, Criven says as he's digging around in this dude's stomach.
It is.
Oof.
You know, Criven, if you're the person that's going to do it, I'm going to make you make a discipline check because this is Butcher's work.
Fair enough.
He is an assassin.
It's true, but you know, there's killing someone, then there's digging around in their innards.
Right. And Criven's pretty young. But he's gonna you know, he cuts this dude open, just slashes him right open, blood pouring everywhere, and he takes a deep breath. He's gonna spend a fortune point and then just shove his right hand right into this dude's stomach. For 5 successes.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
So you steel yourself against what it is you're
lack of
doing,
discipline.
and you feel the warmth on your hand quickly going cold, and your fingers mush around viscera and organs you couldn't help to identify, and you're starting to wonder if maybe it was a lie. Maybe that dead veneer man just wanted to have one last laugh before your hand grabs something cold and stone. And with a sucking sound, you pull it out of his stomach, and there's a little figurine before you in black stone of what looks to be a little person laying prone with arms and legs, but in place of the head, there's just a large hand, and you know that you have the idol you were sent to retrieve.
Oh, sweet.
And that's going to be it for this week. Next week, we're going to start off with some carousing, which is a in-between adventure thing that Conan Adventures in Age Undreamed of does, so we'll be working our way through that. Carousing's a great time to heal wounds and such, and we'll be moving on with the story. Yeah, so read up on your carousing talents, anybody.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for anyone that stuck with us. We know it's late. We hope you enjoyed yourselves. I'm glad you got to see the hand go in the stomach, you know. I'm glad someone was there for that. It's been a great time. As always, if you haven't liked us already, go to facebook.com/crumbling keep to give us a like on Facebook. Our podcast is live, our D&D Actual Play podcast. Crumbling Keep Presents,
Google
The Isles
Play.
of Samsaris. Yeah, most of the podcast apps you're going to find it on. If you can't find it, let us know. We'll fix that. We'll make sure we get on your app of choice. You can also listen to it on our website at crumblingkeep.com. You'll be able to find it there. It's a D&D Actual Play podcast edited to sound more like a audio drama than most out there. I'd like to think it has pretty decent production values. And yeah, we'll be doing this again next week on Monday at 7 p.m. So we will see you then.
10 Eastern.
Yeah, sorry, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. That's the problem with having coast-to-coast players. We get this kind of stuff confused. Anyone have anything they want to drop? Anything they want to say about themselves or anything?
Thanks for listening.
You guys are all great.
I think this is a great first episode.
Yeah.
Looking forward to next week's.
Cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, follow us on the Twitterverse at Crumbling Keep, and it's been great. We'll get some links up in the video post if you're interested in playing Conan, Adventures in Age Undreamed Of. We'll get you some links so you can buy the books. It's a great system. Have a great night, y'all, and we'll see you in a week.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.